And welcome to the Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25, the show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. I'm Dean Beckman, joined by Sports Information Director Donnie Netto, back with another Cardinals Nest here on HBC. And Donnie, a little bit later on in the program, in the interview segment, we're going to be talking about the sport that we've been talking about all season long, all fall here on the Cardinals Nest, and that's volleyball, including one of the players. We'll have as a guest that we've been talking about all fall, Brandi Blattner will be joining us.
Yeah, and the fun thing about this is I get to be the first person to congratulate Brandi on being first team All-MIAC. It was just released before we started taping. Brandi and her teammate Morgan Thomas were both named first team All-MIAC. Great honor for her, and certainly very well deserved for both of them. So congratulations to Brandi before she even gets on the set. And then as long as we're talking volleyball, we'll also get to talk basketball with Brandi, because as many people know, because we talked all of last year about her prowess on the basketball court. So we'll get a little inside information on the upcoming basketball season, which she'll start practicing as soon as volleyball season is officially over.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should point out, too, that earlier this season on the Cardinals Nest, we had Morgan Thomas on the program, so only A-list guests here on HBC. So that's coming up later on in the program, but first we'll recap the past week in St. Mary's athletics. And Donnie, the cross-country team was at the MIAC Championships this past weekend, and Jovan Newsom turned in quite a performance, finishing third overall in the men's race.
Yeah, it was a great race for Jovan. And, you know, we talk all season how the whole season is preparing for the MIAC and the NCAA regional, and Jovan certainly picked the right time to be at his best, like you said, finishing in third place overall. 26:08 was his 8K time, which is a great time for Jovan. And you know, with him and Austin O'Hare and Brandon Krogman, the Cardinal men finished 7th overall, which is the highest place finish they've had in Coach Barron's time at St. Mary's. So a very, very solid race for them, and hopefully a good sign of things to come as they get ready for the regional in 2 weeks. So, you know, congratulations to Jovan and really the entire Cardinal men's squad, because they really did an outstanding job.
Yeah, and so how about, too, on the women's side? Who were some of the top finishers for the St. Mary's women, and what does that all mean as far as the regionals coming up here in a few
12th
weeks?
place finish for the women, and they were led by Danielle Franke, who we've talked about just about every week, has done a great job in her freshman year. And Erica Thiel had one of her best performances of the season. She was the second finisher for the Cardinals. In terms of what this does for the regional, they're two completely different things. So this was the conference championships, you know, and as we said, they finished 7th and 12th. Now in 2 weeks they'll go to the regional. That's where you can qualify for the nationals, and you know, hopefully Jovan can put together another race like he did at the conference championships, and maybe get a shot at getting to the national stage, which he had done 2 years ago. So things are looking good for Jovan and the Cardinal men, and hopefully they can make some noise again in 2 weeks at the regional.
Yeah, and where are the regionals held?
It's in Northfield, and it'll be hosted by Carleton. So they ran in that race, they've run on that course, so they know it. That's one of the reasons that Coach Barrett ran in the race at Carleton, what they call the pre-regional, a couple weeks ago. So they'll be familiar with the course, which can only help them as they get ready for that meet.
All right, let's turn our attention now to soccer, and the women's soccer team for St. Mary's playing in its final home game this past weekend on Saturday, and final game of the season. And all year they've had trouble scoring goals. We've talked about that here on the Nest. Saturday, that was less of a concern. They had a wild game. Unfortunately, came out 1 goal short again here.
Yeah, they lost 3-2 to Carleton. It was, you know, like you said, they came up just short. Got goals from Karina Friend and from Emily Loof, and you know, it's too bad that they couldn't use some of that offense a little earlier in the season, because it's, you know, in a game of soccer to score 2 goals is a solid performance, and unfortunately giving up 3 in that game you know, was what really did them in. I think one of the neat things with this season for them is, we talked at the very first Cardinals Nest, Emily Loof scored the very first goal for the Cardinals this year, and last Saturday she scored the very last goal. So she kind of bookended her pair of goals, first and last. So a tough season in regards to overall record for the Cardinal women, but you know, they made a lot of progress as the season progressed, and I know Coach Cassidy is already looking forward to next season.
And then the men's soccer team, also its final game last Saturday, they finish the season 8-9-1, so very close to that 500 mark. But Donnie, when I sent out the itinerary for today, I put in there very specifically Saturday's loss was a microcosm of the season. And that's exactly what it was, because it was a double overtime game, a one-goal contest, which they come out on the short end.
Yeah, they lose 2-1 in 2 overtimes. And, you know, it was one of those games that was really bittersweet. You go into it, you know that Coach Watkins is leaving, so it's his last game. You've got 5 seniors graduating. You know that you have to win to have any chance of making it to the MIAC playoffs. You go into double overtime, you give up a penalty kick goal to Carleton, and that's how they won it, was with the PK. And so it was a very tough way for them to lose that game, and really kind of puts a little bit of a damper on what's been a great season for them. Like you said, 8-9-1. I mean, 8 wins is the most they've had in over a decade. So it was a great season for the Cardinals, and a lot to look forward to as they move forward. 1, in finding a new head coach, and 2, in returning for next season.
Yeah, did you get a chance to talk to Coach Watkins after the game? How's he feeling?
Yeah, I did. I got to talk to him, and he's excited about what's coming up. But, I talked to him right after the game, and there were a lot of tears being shed, and he's going to miss this team, and he's going to miss St. Mary's. It's been a great place. It's, he's been here 6 years. It's hard to believe it's already been 6 years, but so it's a bittersweet time for him, and it's going to be, it's going to be tough when he closes that office door for the last time. But he's looking ahead to a really exciting time in his new position, and hopefully everything will work out for the best. And he's leaving a team that's really got a lot of talent. Sean Butcher had 3 assists on the Cardinals' last 4 games. In their last 2 games, Jared Wold had a goal in each of the last 2 games. Both of those guys returned. Garrett Grunke, who shared the team lead in goals with Sean with 4. He's back as well. So there's a lot of firepower coming back. Should look for some really good things from the Cardinals next year.
So, Donnie, as I look at the shirt you're wearing, you've got a hockey shirt on, appropriately enough, and both the women's and men's hockey teams started this past weekend. In fact, the men have a couple of home games this upcoming weekend that we'll preview later on in the program. But as far as this past weekend goes, it was the MIAC Showcase, and they had a thrilling 3-3 tie against St. Thomas on Friday night. Had a day off Saturday, came back Sunday, and another thrilling game against Concordia. Unfortunately, they fall 1 goal short against Concordia.
Yeah, Coach Moore figured if 1 overtime was good, 2 overtimes would be better. So 2 overtime games, get in a little extra time. I guess it's not all bad. But the St. Thomas game on Friday night was a great game. They were down by 2 goals twice. They were down 2-0 and 3-1. They come back to tie that one in regulation, getting a goal by Bob Kinney with 25 seconds left in the 3rd period to force overtime. Because it was an MIAC-sponsored event, after the tie in the overtime, they did go to a shootout, which St. Thomas won 1-0. And then on Sunday, they turn around and they play Concordia and fall 3-2. But a lot of good things that were in that 2 games for the Cardinals. I think one of the things you look at, they had 13 points between goals and assists, and they had 12 different people get those points. Bob Kinney being the only one that had more than 1 point. He had a goal and an assist. So a lot of spreading the wealth, so to speak. A lot of the people that Coach Moore was looking for to see what they could do, a lot of the freshmen really played very well. He had 4 freshman defensemen among his top 6, and they played extremely well. And so I think that things are looking very good. It's hard to find a silver lining when you go 0-1-1 in a 2-game series, but there were so many things that they did right that I think that once the conference season begins, they're going to benefit from those 2 games as much as they will benefit this weekend against Eau Claire and River Falls.
Yeah, and we should mention, too, those games count in the overall record, but not in the conference record. And so that's
right.
An important note with that MIAC Hockey Showcase. One of those freshman defensemen that he talked about here on the program was Joey Mavrin, and I saw Joey got a goal in the Friday night game.
Yeah, it was great to see, and Mike Mazzano had a goal as well. And when you're getting goals from your defensemen, that's awesome. And so I think that this is a very well-rounded team from the back all the way up to the front. Phil Heinley played very well in goal. Aaron Davis played his first game in goal for the Cardinals, did a nice job on Sunday against Concordia. So I think all the way from the goaltending up, they're a very, very solid team. And one of the things that Coach Moore talked about last week here on the show was how fast they are. And when you see it in real time, they are a very explosive, fast team. And I think a lot of teams are going to have problems with them because they are very, very quick.
Donnie, 2 minutes left in this segment, and the women's hockey team, wild weekend for them. High-scoring games, and they actually won both games by 1 goal. And that second game, there were several goals exchanged, and by several I mean like 5 goals exchanged within the final 5 minutes of the third period.
I've been doing this. This is my 22nd year, and St. Norbert and St. Mary's combined for 7 goals in the third period, including 5 in the last minute and a half.
Yeah.
So if you
That's
think about that,
incredible.
it's absolutely incredible. And you know, fortunately, as I talked to Jamie Henderson last night at the volleyball match, fortunately they were the ones that came out on top in that crazy third period. And you know, for them to start 2-0 is awesome, and they're playing very well. Jamie Henderson had 3 goals and an assist. Anya Hafis, we're going to get used to that name because she is a phenomenal freshman, and she had 2 goals and 2 assists in the 2 games. So a great start for her collegiate career. So many people. Jessie Swick, one of the seniors, she had a couple of goals. So a lot of good scoring. The seniors are doing a great job of leading. The underclassmen are really coming through and showing what they can do. They're getting solid goaltending. Ashley Corcoran and Mara Shields both played in the 2 games against Marion and St. Norbert. So again, Terry Manor's team is very deep and very talented, and I know that he and Coach Greg Moore are really excited about what the freshmen are doing, and you know, it's going to be a really, really fun season this year.
Yeah, and they've got this weekend off, rest up, and then get
and
back
then they
into
kick off
action
MIAC
next
play the following weekend.
Yeah. So, all right, that's going to do it for this segment of the Cardinals Nest. Stay tuned, though, because coming up next, we'll talk volleyball with Brandi Blattner here on the Cardinals Nest on HBC.
HBC GigaWorld is fiber optic, which means you can experience true gigabit Wi-Fi. With HBC GigaWorld, you can maximize your Wi-Fi experience and the devices you use with HBC's GigaHome Gateway. Take your Wi-Fi to the next level with faster internet speeds that have increased signal strength, backed by the reliability and bandwidth to support simultaneous internet users all at the same time. HBC GigaWorld, with more bandwidth and reliability than any other provider. Visit hbci.com to learn more.
This is prison. These inmates will kill you. Take them down. I don't care about your authority.
I can make their life just as hard as they want to make mine.
I don't care about your job.
They gonna take me seriously? Hey, look like I'm 12 years old.
My biggest fear is not going home to my wife.
Sooner or later, you're gonna have to go face your fear.
Put the weapon down!
That's what we do every day.
What did I get myself into?
And welcome back to the Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. Dean Beckman along with Sports Information Director Donnie Netto. And joining us now on the Cardinals Nest is Brandi Blattner. Brandi, a multi-sport athlete at St. Mary's, volleyball and basketball. So we'll get into all of that in a little bit in your busy schedule and activities coming up shortly. But first, you know, you're a sophomore this year. You're from Iota and went to Dover Iota High School, which is within the HBC coverage area here. In fact, we've covered a lot of your high school games before. So tell us a little bit about your multi-sport activities at Dover Iota and then how you ended up landing at St. Mary's.
Well, throughout high school, I played volleyball and basketball and then track. And then my junior year of high school, I tore my ACL. And so over that time, I realized how much sports really meant to me, and I worked really hard to get back my senior year. And so then I was able to play basketball and volleyball coming back. And so then basketball, we won the state tournament, which was a really awesome experience for me. And when I was thinking about choosing colleges, I really wanted to think about if I wanted to play 2 sports still. And so then I was really looking at St. Mary's too, because I liked the coaching staff and I just really felt comfortable here. And I was talking to the players and I just really liked the atmosphere around me. And so then I was like, I really want to play 2 sports still. So I decided to come here and play both volleyball and basketball, and I'm just really enjoying it.
Talk a little bit about your freshman year. We're going to kind of build things up here. You come in, you didn't play a ton volleyball-wise your freshman year. Unbelievable basketball season. Was there a big adjustment from high school to college in terms of not only just adjusting to college life, but also to adjusting to the play of the speed and whatnot of the games at the collegiate level?
Well, in college here, like, it's a lot more intense. Like, we work out all the time, and like in high school, I mean, you work hard, but you're not like as intense about it. But like here it was just a really comfortable experience because like my teammates were really like helping me adjust to the game here and stuff like that. And I really got like just adjust a bit from last year, like with the players and stuff. And so, yeah.
Good.
You want me to keep going? I got
wanted
lots.
you to keep
I want
going.
I want
know
to
you
I
have
want to
lots
throw
of
some
questions.
numbers for this year because we're going to talk volleyball for a little while. 440 kills, 4.5 kills per set, 13 double-doubles, 31 kills, 29 kills, 28 kills in a match. I mean, these are numbers that I've never seen before. I know it's hard to talk about yourself and performances, but take us through this season and really what you've accomplished because it's, you're a 4-time MIAC Athlete of the Week. It's been a phenomenal season for you.
Yeah, like in the beginning of the season, I didn't know what to expect from our team because like we lost a lot of seniors from last year. And so like the first day of preseason, I was just a little worried about it, but like we came together as a team and like I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what I have without my teammates. Like with every good kill, there's a good pass and a good set. I'm just really like lucky and blessed to have the teammates I do.
Do you think it was a benefit last year to maybe play behind Alex and kind of learn a little bit as that season progressed as you headed into this year?
Yeah, like I learned so much from my coaches and from the outside hitters. I mean, they were always there for me and just like telling me like what to work on. And I was just really lucky to have such great outside hitters last year so I could learn from them.
Now, Brandi, earlier Donnie mentioned first team All MIAC volleyball. We'll talk about that more in just a second here. But you were also just recently, for the second week in a row, named Conference Hitter of the Week. And you accomplished that 4 times this year. I'm not sure, Donnie, how often it's happened 2 weeks in a row, much less 4 times.
4 times in a
season. That's
pretty
incredible.
Yeah.
So just the string lately of contests that you really picked up some momentum here late in the season. So maybe mention what that felt like just the past few weeks here.
It's just like such an amazing experience. Like I just play the game and like whatever happens, happens. And I'm just so lucky to have like the teammates I do that are always like believing in me and just like having faith in me in every like thing I do. And we always like pick each other up. And unfortunately last night didn't end up the way we wanted it to, but hopefully we still have that chance for the tournament bid. And Bethel played really good against us last night. I feel like we had some very important plays as well, just didn't end up in our favor. But overall, I'm just really blessed with this season that we have. Like we had over 20 wins, which is really phenomenal for any sport. And so my teammates are like a second family to me, and it's just going to be sad to see like the seniors leave.
And then you and Morgan getting named all first team in the conference. Your thoughts when you heard that?
I was just really happy about it. Like Mo and I was in the back row, like always encouraging each other and always picking each other up. And like I knew she could do it. She's had some amazing digs and really great serves as well. She's had a ton of aces this past year, and so I always can count on her for the perfect pass.
Talk about probably your favorite people on the team, and that would be Lillian and Brittany, and Brittany Hansen, because they're the ones that are getting you the ball. How important is it to have 2 really good setters like that really are controlling the flow of the match the way they did all season?
We have some of the best setters, I think, in the conference. So, I mean, they're just always there no matter if it's like a bad pass. They're always just trying to get to the ball. And, like, it's just really hard to get that perfect set each time. I don't know how they do it. And, like, because, like, they never get any doubles or anything like that. And so I always have the belief in them that they'll get the ball to whoever needs it. And, yeah.
And now let's talk, as the fall season kind of winds down, and like you did allude to, hopefully this volleyball season is not over, but talk a little bit about the transition now, because basketball's already started. They've been practicing, so once the volleyball season's over, you'll transition into basketball. How hard is that to kind of change the focus of your mind from volleyball to basketball?
Well, I'll take probably a couple days off here, and I'll watch some of the practices and get used to it. But the teammates I have, they're always really encouraging about like welcoming me back and like just being there for me and telling like what I have to do and stuff like that. And I don't think it'll be that hard with transition, like just shooting wise and stuff. I'll have to work on that because I didn't get that much time during volleyball. But I don't. It'll be a pretty easy transition, but I just hope volleyball's not over yet. 'Cause we have that chance.
Right now, when will you find out about whether you make the NCAA tournament?
We'll find out Monday.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So until then, you're practicing volleyball, I
Yep.
presume, right? You assume the season will continue.
Mhm.
Just from a standpoint of perseverance and being able to transition from volleyball to basketball, do you need a few days off just to rest the body a little bit?
Or the
I mean,
arm?
Because the other thing is you almost never come out in a volleyball match. You're out there for pretty much every set, the whole set. So I think from a stamina standpoint, that has to be tiring.
Yeah, volleyball is different in shape ability than basketball, so I'll definitely have to work on getting like long distance shape for basketball. But
I don't think she's had any problem. If you look at
Right.
last year, first team all conference in basketball, D3hoops.com, West Region Rookie of the Year. I think she adjusts
I
just
need about
fine.
6 months to recover from
yeah,
a
I probably
volleyball
won't take
season.
many days off because I just like to keep going and playing.
Yeah.
How do you juggle it all? Because for most people, most student athletes we talk to, they have one season that they worry about, and then the rest of the time they can really focus on the books and whatnot. But you do it for 2 seasons, so time management wise must be very important to be good at.
Yeah, like there's no time like wasting. You have to keep up on your studies and like any little extra time you have, I'm always like doing homework or getting stuff done that needs to be done for the next day.
So let's talk a little bit academically. I know you're a biology major.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about your summer, because I heard you did some interesting things with Professor Minerath this summer. If you want to just talk a little bit about that.
So at the end of the year last year, Minerath came up to me and was talking to me about if I was interested in doing like a summer research project. And so then I was like, oh sure, okay. And so she talked to me like I live close by, so it's really convenient for me to come down here. And she was talking about ticks, and at first I'm just like, well, I'm not really a fan of ticks. Like I never really had one on me, so I don't really know if I want to do this. But then I went out with her, and Jordan Messling also went out with me, and we throughout the summer, like a couple days during the month, we would go out and like collect ticks and like tell the difference between male and female and collect some and send them into the state to see like if they had Lyme's disease. And so it was just quite an experience. I got closer to Minrath, and like she's just an incredible woman. I'm lucky to have that opportunity to have done that with her.
Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity. And Brandi, just a minute left now in this segment, but basketball. Let's preview the season a little bit. You've got to be excited coming back.
Yeah.
You're a sophomore now, and so tell us your thoughts on what to expect with basketball this year.
Well, last year, we lost 3 important seniors, and I'm just hoping that we'll have key players this year that will fill those roles. Finishing second last year in the conference, like it just really makes us want to come back for more and like know that we can do it. And I'm just really excited for what this year has to offer for us and the team.
And you have an old teammate joining you too, Danielle Higgins, transferring to St. Mary's, and she's your teammate from Dover Iota, right? So
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Like I was really happy with her decision to come here, and so and she wanted to keep continuing basketball, and might as well just play together again.
And for both volleyball and basketball, I presume you've got lots of fans in the stands with your family and everything?
Oh yeah, like one game, this whole section was like filled out with my family. 'Cause,
Well,
I mean, it's so
and what you have
close.
to remember too is part of that family is a staff member at St. Mary's,
right.
and Niels Anderson is your uncle, correct?
Yep.
And I know he's at every match and every game, because by the time I get back to my office, he's already there talking about the game. So definitely a big fan of yours is Uncle Niels.
Yeah. So, well, Brandi, thanks for being on the show, and hopefully you have some luck getting in that postseason tournament for volleyball, and good luck in the basketball season.
Thank you.
All right, so stay tuned here to the Cardinals Nest. We'll be right back to preview the week ahead here on HBC.
Turn your friends into GigaFriends with HBC and earn up to $50 on each qualifying referral.
Up to $50?
That's right.
More input, please.
When HBC customers refer their friends to sign up for HBC services, they can earn up to $50. If they get 2 friends to sign up for services,
That would be $100?
That's right. Pretty quick with the math there.
Affirmative. We are robots. Math is kind of our thing.
Never would have guessed.
Grab some GigaFriends and start saving today.
The most exciting, game-defining yards in football. It's NFL Red Zone from NFL Network.
Magnificent!
Get every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon. And football doesn't stop.
We're covering it like crazy.
On NFL Network, it goes all week.
We got a lot of football. Don't you go away.
Get NFL Red Zone from NFL Network today.
And we're back to wrap up the Cardinals Nest here on HBC by taking a look at the week ahead. And Donnie, it's men's hockey this weekend on campus, both Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah, I think I'll just go. We have men's hockey and swimming, and that's all we have going on this weekend. Men's hockey has 2 home games. They play Eau Claire on Friday night at 7 o'clock at the St. Mary's Ice Arena, and then they come back on Saturday night, and they've got UW River Falls. Eau Claire is going to be a tough test for them, ranked number 8th in the country right now, coming off a 2-0 weekend for them, so they're playing very well. And then River Falls was ranked 11th in the preseason poll, but struggled out of the gates, losing 2 games. So they'll come in 0-2 and probably hungry to avenge that. So should be a great weekend of college hockey at the SMU Ice Arena. And then swimming is up at Hamlin, at the Hamlin Invitational this weekend. And really, that's all we have for the weekend. And basketball is right around the corner. They're going to be kicking off here very shortly. So the winter seasons are right there, ready to go.
Well, and I want to mention, too, we got a couple of minutes left. I was talking to some people in the community, and for those watching in the community, you are definitely more than welcome to come up to St. Mary's and enjoy all of our sporting events, of course. But I talked to some this weekend that had never been to a hockey game, right? And there's usually, it's full, but there's usually seats available in the bleachers, and it's a great time. It's a low-cost entertainment, and it's really, really good hockey.
Yep.
These are all players, for the most part, who have played, after high school in minor league hockey and are now playing college hockey.
Yeah, no question. It's a great ticket, and like you said, all of our sporting events are very entertaining. I know that we get a lot of community support for both our men's and women's basketball teams and our men's and women's hockey teams in the winter seasons, and it's a phenomenal experience. And I think that if you haven't made it up onto campus, come on up and enjoy a game, whether it be basketball or whether it be hockey or swimming or whatever your tastes are. There's something for everybody, and like you had said, it's really a very economical entertainment, and some of the best athletes, as we had on the last segment with Brandi, some of the best athletes around.
Right, yeah, and so for the men's hockey, they're the ones that have played junior hockey for the most part, but even women's hockey, these are some of the best high school hockey athletes that the state has that are now continuing in college. So that's going to do it for this week's Cardinals Nest here on HBC. Glad you could join us, and be sure to tune in again next week. We'll let you know if the volleyball team makes the NCAA postseason tournament, and tell you all about the hockey contests, and we'll preview basketball as well next week right here on HBC. Thanks for watching.